Reverend and Mrs. Isaac A. Brown. Mr. and Mrs. Ninoy Mengo. Mr. and Mrs. Ninoy Mengo. Thank you so much. Since they are on their way coming, as of when and how they come, we will introduce them to you. Then we also like to introduce the source person for Vichans in the person of Vicky Williams-Bones. Vicky Williams-Bones. The director as well to join the high table. Director, Mrs. Matekoli. Let's clap for them as they take their seats. Thank you. Now the program is on course. We'll call on Miss Nina Anzikwenu to introduce the guest speaker for this occasion. Let's welcome her with a round of applause.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Our guest speaker for today was born at Odumasu Krobo on 5th May 1944 to Reverend Dr. Reverend D.A. Konete Ahulu and Mrs. Grace Konete Ahulu, both deceased. After his primary, middle and secondary school education, he taught at Banner Hill Middle Boys Boarding School and Presbyterian Secondary School, Usu, until he gained admission to Trinity College, Legon, for his ministerial training in 1965. He passed the Licentiate in Theology examination of Ghana and the preliminary examination of Divinity of London University. Whilst he was at Trinity College, Legon, he knew Greek, Latin, and Hebrew. He studied at Trinity College, Bristol, England, and at the University of London Philosophy. Pioneering work. He was the first director of evangelism and leadership training of World Vision International, having oversight of West Africa, appointed by World International and supported by the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, 1985 to 1991. He was one of the first lecturers to teach the special ministerial studies at the Remesia Theological Seminary from 1983 to 1992. He was a pioneering lecturer in 3 disciplines: logic, theology, and philosophy. When the department or nursing of the Presbyterian University College was established in 2007, he lectured for 2 years, international invitation and conferences. In 1987, lectured in Fukushima, Japan. January 5th to 7th, 1987, lectured at Urawa. January 16, 1987, lectured at Toiki, Japan. January 23rd, 1987, lectured at Aoyama. January to March 1987, lectured at Tokyo Theological Seminary. February 6, 1987, lectured at Koito, Japan. February 1918, lectured at Koriyama, Japan. 1991, lectured at San Antonio, Texas, USA. March 21st to April 6, 1993, lectured at Hertfordshire Banner Conference. March 1997, taught at Stanford, USA. August 2000, lectured in London, UK. 2005, Basel Missionary, Switzerland. He was a visiting lecturer at the University of Tokyo Theological Seminary from 1986 to 1987. He is a theologian, a philosopher, and a psychologist. In 2012, he earned a PhD in philosophical psychology from Alpha Central University, USA. Publications. He thanks the Lord that 3 of his books are being used as textbooks. However, his greatest book, his magnum opus, is his book entitled Sense and Nonsense in Christianity, a book of 713 pages that has earned him several invitations to Britain, Switzerland, and many other European countries. His personal philosophy was termed philosophy of circumstances. Believes that in this world, conceivable thing can be taken from any person except one's personal union with Christ and one's intellectual power. Having served the Lord through Presbyterian Church for 45 years, he is married to Joanna and has 5 children. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, please help me welcome Reverend Dr. D.S.L. Ponete Agulu as our guest speaker.
Thank you, Madam Nina. Shall we give it out to him? I mean the guest speaker, please. Let's give it out to him for the guest speaker. Once again, out of his busy schedule, that's made the point to be with us here. Thank you so much. Good. Indeed, we have called our chairperson and few people to help us, but we don't know whether they have accepted the position in good faith. Right from here, I'm just moving to the chairperson-elect for us to hear whether he has accepted it once again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Co-MC. I accept. That's a very brief answer to the question. But the first duty I want to perform as chairman is to congratulate all of you who were here at 1 or before 1. And thank you for your immense patience and love for the school. I know in certain jurisdictions, those who came at 1 will be gone by now. And we'll be receiving those who are coming at 3. So please give yourselves a round of applause for your patience and love for Vichans. I've always wondered what the role of a chairman is. And with an able guest speaker, a multilingual guest speaker, I'm going to hazard a guess. I've always wondered whether the chairman is a chair who's a man or a man who's a chair. But I guess once I've experienced it, I've realized that it's a man who sits in a chair. So I guess that's my role for this afternoon. I'll try and sit on this chair as comfortably as I can without tumbling over. But I think my main role is exemplified by a story that I was told by a tour guide in Israel. We were actually standing by the Sea of Galilee. And this guy turned to us. There were about 8 of us, all professionals. And he asked us, are you the followers of the magician? And we said, who's the magician? And he said, oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, the magician. And all of us there, perchance, were Christians. So we said, well, if that is your name for our Lord, then yes, we are followers of the magician. Then he said, well, let me tell you a story. You know this sea that is here, that's the Sea of Galilee. And not too long ago, there was a storm similar to the one that happened in the days of Jesus. And on the boat, there were 3 clerics. A Catholic bishop. I see my brother is here, Sakibu. There was, of course, a Muslim imam. And then there was also a Jewish rabbi. And when the storm kicked up, the Catholic bishop stood up, said about 30 Hail Marys, and jumped into the lake and promptly sank. He just went down, he sank. And to date, he has not been found. And the Muslim cleric got up, said a few Allahu Akbars, jumped into the water, took a few steps, and also disappeared into the water. Then the Jewish rabbi got up, intoned a few verses from the Torah, stepped out onto the water and walked majestically to the other shore. And when he got there, the people who were gathered on the shore asked him, "But Rabbi, you were all holy men on the boat. The two sank. You were able to come. What is the secret?" And he said, "I did not tell them where the rocks are." So you know, the job of a chairperson is to make sure that all that are gathered here for this function are told exactly where the rocks are, so that there will be no sinking. Everybody will enjoy the function and go home in one piece to recount it. Thank you very much. I will now hand over to the able MCs, and my only plea to them is to remember that we have a classicist at the high table. So please be careful with your esquires and all those other terms. Be very, very careful. You can always consult before you pronounce. Otherwise, there will be serious marking on the high table. Thank you very much and enjoy this afternoon.
Thank you, Chairperson. Shall we give it out to him? Thank you once again. Chairperson, thank you for showing us your secrets. We'll make sure nobody will sink. We all walk majestically across the room. Thank you once again. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the program is getting hotter and hotter. We have a group here who are to entertain us. It's not going to be only talk and talk and talk and talk. We have a group entitled African Dance Ensemble, and they're giving us a show. Shall we welcome them with a round of applause?
Majestically welcome you all to the launch of the Silver Jubilee of Vichans International. Ability and Zolu. This dance is performed for royals, and so we are treating you as royals here in Vichans School. For the realization of all parents, majestic you are, our dignitaries. And we expect all gathered here to be relaxing. Please, if you're happy, give a round of applause. This is a welcome, a royal welcome treat, specifically for our dignitaries. Mr. Chairman, Co-Chairman, and all supporters and noble parents. Majestically, she does that. That's it. That's it. She bows. That's it. On behalf of the school, majestic welcome. Left, right, forward, backwards movement. Thank you. Majestically, royal treatment. She's back by the African Dance Ensemble. There you go. That's it. That's it. She's arriving. Papa. Baby. She loves you so much. She hold up. And this one, if you don't treat her with some notes, she never goes away. So quickly do that. That's it. That's it. Right after here, show yourself to Menchia. And say Ashe to Asante. No. I'm alright here this year. And I know that's it. Mo. Sa. The preference goes, look at our body display. Give a round of applause to her. I don't want to leave the scene. Oh yeah. Tomorrow and Salah. And we live in a ecological manner. Wow. All Muslims. Prince Salah. Oh my God. Wow. May I have a special cashier for Nanaba? Where is she? Miss Anabie, will you be a special cashier? Wonderfully, she says, Your Majesty, to Mr. Chairman, our co-chairman, supporters, noble parents, how majestic you are, especially for this great occasion. Majestically, we acknowledge the proprietors of the school, the management and staff, of Vichans School, Evangelist Ewuku, and all personalities present today. You are all royals. Once again, a round of applause to Vichans School at 25. We have a special speech to be delivered by a special personality. This personality is a resource personnel of Vichans School. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, with a clap of friend, give unto Mrs. Vicky Bob Williams.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody, and thank you again. I'm glad to be here with the pupils of Vichans Schools, the distinguished guests, invited guests, parents, and teachers. How is everybody today? Everybody is good? And Mr. Chairperson, Reverend Konete Ahunu, how are you? Good. Mrs. Hansenotti, Mrs. Kote, and all other invited guests. Thank you very much. Mrs. Matekoli, thank you. I imagine there are some seniors here who are out here feeling very, very cool because they just have one more year to go. Where are they? Where are your seniors? Okay, they're preparing. I know that feeling. I know how it feels like to know that this is one more year to go and school is over, but it's not over until it is over. 25 years ago, on 3rd October 1989, Vichans Preparatory School was birthed. It all began in Mr. and Mrs. Hansenotti's living room at Jowulu. The primary aim was to have a home environment for children whose parents have to leave home early to work and not get home till after 1800 hours. 6 children enrolled in the school to start with. They were Rukiatu Lawal, Gertrude Janine, Mamiesi Russell, Kofi Jan, and Akosia Jan. In the morning, the carpet would be rolled up and the living room furniture rearranged, toys scattered, ready for these children to come and play. The Hansenottis got their living room back after 6 p.m. As time went on, the number increased. And as the years rolled on, there was a need to expand. Parents started asking if there was going to be a primary department. Were they going to start a class 1? It became imperative that the proprietress look for land to develop this idea. These grounds that this function is held on became the new home for the expansion. The nursery department is still maintained at Jowulu, although we have a small one here. It is to ensure that the little ones whose parents would come late will find their children at home. The first batch of junior secondary school students, then JHS, passed out in the year 2000. Every member of this family contributed in diverse ways to make the foundation solid, just as it says in the school anthem, solid foundation. Now the staff turnover in Vichans is very, very low. And I would like to acknowledge each one of them for their support in bringing this school thus far. Nora Aiku, Margaret Dodu, and Mr. Aliko are the longest serving teachers. They served for 23 years, 22 years, and 18 years respectively. The school currently has 2 libraries. One is the Braille Library and the Big Apple. The first library was opened in 1998 with books donated by philanthropists in Scotland through the efforts of Dr. and Mrs. Charles Ayiku. And the Big Apple was created 2 years ago when we had the frontline involvement team from New York JFK's airport donating over 8,000 books to the school. There's a science lab, a computer lab, an art center, a sick bay, a kitchen and a resource center, which is the latest addition. This center was set up in the year 2012. The center seeks to help build the relationship between teachers and children, parents and children and their peers. We also counsel children and give them emotional support. We help build confidence in the children, and where the children have challenges with certain subjects, we set up for the teachers to pay extra attention to them at no extra charge. The benefits of this center have been remarkable, as pupils have built confidence in their teachers and they know themselves better. They know their strengths and weaknesses, and they are able to appreciate the opportunities they have and what they can do to develop their career in future. How do we do this? The center brings parents and teachers together for team building exercises, and during these periods we share success stories and also some concerns where children's learning patterns are concerned. We encourage the adoption of one other child who the second parent would mentor and follow right through the year. The benefits of this is that as you mentor somebody else's child, you mentor your own. The benefit for this is that as a mentor, you would also be following the progress of somebody else's child, and you will definitely not forget to follow your own child's development. The mentee has a lot of respect for the mentor, and this pushes the mentee to excel. We also have the opportunity to meet parents to support them deal with issues affecting the progress. My concluding words will sound like, let's put it as jokes, but they sum up what we do as a school and as a resource center. Please take these words back and ponder over them. Let me ask you this question. Who says that the children do not have answers to everything that we ask them? A physics teacher asked the students, he actually said to the students, Isaac Newton was sitting under a tree when an apple fell on his head and he discovered gravity. Isn't that wonderful? You know what the student said to the teacher? Yes, sir. But if he had been sitting in the classroom looking at books like us, he wouldn't have discovered anything. This is what the student said. So the children have answers to everything. When you tell your child to go and learn, the child can tell you something that would set you thinking. And this is what we are here for as a resource center. One teacher asked the students, why is it that your essay on your dog is the same as your brother's one? It's word for word. He says, yes, because I'm dealing with the same dog. So you see, he can give you an answer that will set you thinking. Okay. Now your children know you better. They are smart, so you've got to be smarter. And that's what we are here for again as a resource center. One teacher asked the child, if you have one Ghana cedi and you ask your dad for another, what would you have? He said, I'll still have $1. And the teacher said, you know, you don't know your arithmetic. I keep telling you that addition is something plus something else. He said, no, teacher, you don't know my dad. The children know us better. Okay, so the parents have to team up with the teachers so that we get to know the parents and we know our children better as well. That makes us smarter. Sylvia asked her dad, Dad, can you read in the dark? And he said, yes, I think I can try. What is it that you want me to do? I want you to sign this report card. What does that mean to you? She doesn't want her dad to know her results, but he will sign it saying, I acknowledge. That's what we're here for as a resource center. Now we want to build a team together. We don't want parents coming to the teachers and saying, why did you hit my child? The child may not be telling you the truth, but as a resource center and resource personnel, we're able to tell you exactly what you need to know. A little girl went home and said to her, Mom, my teacher beat me today for something I didn't do. And the mother said, well, I'm going up to see your teacher. Well, how dare she did that? That's very bad. How could she beat you without you doing anything? Anyway, hang on here. For something you didn't do, What didn't you do? My homework. So what if the mother had run to the school to get at the teacher? You would come here and realize that what we do in Vichans is we shut the barn before the horse escapes. We are able to tell you what your child is not doing before the child comes to you. And that is what we do in our resource center. The child comes to school, doesn't do the test, just goes in the classroom, copies one person after the other, and she